Hey everyone, welcome back to Diablo 4. This is my current Necromancer build. The date is the 12th of June right now. So I don't think, unless a huge patch comes out between now and when the video comes out, which is probably the 14th, I think this video is coming out, there shouldn't be much change. But I had a video on this build, and then I went to upload it, and I realized that the game sound was turned off. And I was like, well, okay, it's okay, but it's annoying. I'll just make it again. So, difference is, I'm in Act 4. Or Tier 4, I guess. Yeah, World Tier 4, not Act 4. World Tier 4, everything's hitting like a fucking truck. Everything's 73 plus. Right now I'm level 69. Almost at my next Paragon point, as you can see, and I do not have any minions with me. No bone minions, and I will tell you how I'm doing that. So right now, let's go ahead and open up the skill tree. Now, I do think this build is more efficient than my minion build. The only problem is when it comes to single target, like enemies, or especially, when you do events where you have to break down a totem or break the pile of corpses or, the skeletal constructs, you gotta break them apart. I really suck at that, big time, unless there's ads around. The more ads, the better, just like any other Necromancer build. So, first off, we're going with Reap. We're gonna Reap, you wanna put 5, obviously. I maxed out all my basic skills, or the ones that you... actions, I guess, spells that you cast, max all those out. Why not? Like, what the hell are you doing? Anyways, we go into Reap, you go to an Enhanced Reap, and then we go to this one, which helps you form corpses with the first enemy hit. And that usually helps you start off. As soon as you develop that first corpse, you're going to cast Tendrils, and then Corpse Explosion after Tendril sucks everything in, and then corpse piles will just start dropping like crazy, because you're going to... I'll show you. We got gameplay coming up, don't worry. Next, I'm going to go right here into Blight. Blight is a black meteor, or a black fireball, I guess, that you kind of shoot at an enemy, and it explodes, and then leaves a little pool on the ground. And it hits him, as you can see, for up to 6,129 damage, and then an additional almost 15,000 damage over 6 seconds. That's really good, like really good. And then obviously you want Enhanced Blight, and then right here, I don't know, there's Blight right here, Paranormal Blight, 30% chance to immobilize enemies for 2.3 seconds. That's kind of nice, because when it pops, it immobilizes everything that you've hit with that Blight. And that's kind of nice, but I went here. I changed it up and went here, and you and your minions do 15% more damage to, enemies in Blight. So, I'll show you how to fight that, or fight with it, but basically when you pull everything in with Tendrils, you're going to go up, Reap, and a corpse is going to drop. You hit Tendrils on it, everything gets sucked in, and then you start spamming right click and Corpse Explosion like crazy, and basically you're dropping blights on the ground and you're blowing up corpses, so you're doing 15% more damage for every enemy that's in the blight, and pelting them with blight bolts one after another, and then Corpse Explosion, you're getting 15% damage on top of what it's already doing, which is freaking deadly. I'll show you though. Next I went into Hued Flesh. It's a lucky hit, so it's not rare that it comes up, but it's not, common either. Your damage has up to a 12% chance to create a corpse at the target's location, which is great, because we need help making corpses, because we don't have our Reapers with us, our Reaper minions, who would create corpses with it, or for us, with this, scythes. Alright. Down here in the next tree, we got Corpse and Macabre skills. Now, we take 2 of these. We take Corpse Explosion, obviously. Enhanced Corpse Explosion. And Bladed Corpse Explosion. That's what's leaving the black void zones on the ground. That does 11,000 700 damage over 6 seconds. Not as much as Blight. Blight's doing 14,800 over 6 seconds, but Blight is a very small circle, and it costs 25 essence. How much does Corpse Explosion cost? Nothing. What's the cooldown? Not one. You can spam the hell out of Corpse Explosion. So, I went with that. This other one, it does increase damage to vulnerable enemies, which is kind of nice because the tendrils, when we get there, it makes creatures vulnerable. So, I mean, you could go this way, but I think it's very much more efficient to do this Blight, or the Corpse Explosion, the Bladed Corpse Explosion, because it's also a darkness skill. And I'm almost exclusively Shadow Darkness damage. Okay, so then we have Blood Mist. Blood Mist is your oh shit button. It's got a 20-second cooldown, not that long of a cooldown. Basically, you turn into an orb, and you move pretty slow, but you can kind of float around and you heal up a little bit, but it's mostly like, oh shoot, I'm in this void zone of this boss, I'm not going to be able to get out of it, what am I going to do? You pop that, you're safe for, how long is it, 3 seconds? Yeah, 3 seconds. Or it helps you get away from things. And then you want the enhanced Blood Mist, and then this one leaves the corpse behind every 1 second, which is really nice. Again, we want as much corpse production as we can get. And then here, Blood Mist fortifies you for 0.5% base life each time it hits an enemy. Sounds good, but every 20 seconds, for only 3 seconds, you're going to be as the Blood Mist entity or creature, or however you want to say it. And that fortify is going to go away pretty quick. At 0.5% of your base life is not much, even if you're hitting like 15 enemies over 3 seconds. It's not much at all. So go into Ghastly. It's much better. Much better. Okay, I have 1 point here because I had that like one ability point. I didn't know where else to put it. I just put it in close enemies take 2% more damage from you and deal 3% less. Makes you a little bit more tanky, I guess. 3% damage reduction to melee. Like, okay. Over here. Tendrils, what I've been talking about a lot in this video. Tendrils you put on the ground, on a corpse. You cast it on the corpse. Tendrils come out of the corpse. Grab everything. Well, it slows everything around the tendril. Like, you'll see a radius. Gameplay's coming up. You'll see the radius. And then the tendrils suck everything into the middle of where you on that corpse pile, on where you cast tendrils. Now, they get sucked in. Everything's stacked up. It will stun the enemies, and it makes them vulnerable. And making them vulnerable is huge because they get like 20% increased damage from you while they're vulnerable, so it's huge. Like, your damage will just go off the chart right there. Okay, yeah, this is what I mean by they get slowed. You spec into this, enhance corpse tendrils, and in this one, makes them vulnerable for 3 seconds. Then you just do massive damage for those 3 seconds. And this is only a 9-second cooldown. So, like, by the time one of them's up, and you're done, with them being stunned, and you back off a little bit, because the elites are still alive, and they come walking towards you, or they go to attack, there's only, like, 3 seconds left on the cooldown, and you can just do it again. Bladed corpse tendrils, 30% chance to drop a blood orb. Not great. I mean, it heals you a little bit, but that's pretty much it. I don't know. I'd rather be dishing out damage and hitting like a truck rather than, healing. Okay, and we go here. When a corpse is formed from your skills or minions, fortifies 6% of your base life. So the faster you're dropping corpses off of enemies, basically the more attacks you're piling into, I don't know, the 5 or 6 seconds that everything's boxed together or clumped together. You're getting 6% of your base life as fortify every time you form a corpse. So most of the time, my fortify is like 50% of my health or more. Like, it's a ton. And fortify is not exactly a barrier. It doesn't protect you from all damage. What's it say? 10% reduced damage. So, like, it's not a barrier, but it's very nice to have. I'd probably notice a difference if I took this off so I'm not going to do that. It's nice to have. Over here, since I'm basically all darkness, all shadow, this is where you want to spec if you are darkness shadow spec or build. And I went here. Damaging enemies with darkness or shadow skills. Increase your movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds. So I'm moving pretty quick while combat is active, because everything I'm hitting people with is darkness damage. And then darkness or shadow skills have up to a 15% chance to stun for 4.6 seconds. That's a long stun. Very long stun. These other ones I didn't really go into. Like when you take damage, or when you damage enemies with darkness skills, you take 2% increased shadow damage. Or they take 2% increase. Sorry, I can't read. I know. And 2%, you can spec in it 3 times, you go up to 6%. Not really that big of a deal when I spent the points somewhere else. I'll show you where I spent them. Here, darkness skill deals 3% bonus damage to enemies who are slowed. Well, I don't have anything that's slowing people. I have a chance to stun, right? And, you know, that would help a little bit, I guess, because you would do 9% bonus damage to stunning them, and I'm only, like, stunning enemies 12% at a time for 3 or 4 seconds. It's not really worth going into. Coming down here, Bone Storm. These are the 3 ability points that I had. No, right here. These are the 3 ability points that I decided to put right here instead of this shadow ability. This one right here is sacrificing both skeletal warriors and skeletal mages. Increase the sacrifice bonus by 60%. That's huge. That's more than half. Like, let's say they increase your attack speed by 10%. It's going to go up, you know, instead 16% instead of 10%. I'll show you the sacrifice bonuses here in a second, but I went up, max this out, and you max this out. Increase damage reduction by 18%. Which, alright, so that's almost 20% less damage you're taking from everything. Bone Storm I took as my ultimate because it's a nice button to hit when everything's clumped up together, or just when you feel like you need extra armor. Damage reductions increased by 15%. What is it already? It doesn't have any. Okay, so it's just 15%. That's worded differently, though. Is increased by 15%. You would think, I don't know. Okay, well, I never noticed the word by right there. I just saw increased 15% while Bone Storm is... Okay, well, that's a little confusing, but basically 15% less damage you're taking when you pop this. And then your critical strike chance is increased by an additional 20%, which is huge. And then here we went into Shadow Blight. Same as the last build that I posted. Basically, if you're doing pure shadow damage, this is huge because every 10th time you hit somebody with shadow, you deal an additional, you know, 2,000 to 3,000 shadow damage. It's fantastic. It really is. And in Paragon, I'm not going to get too much into Paragon, but I'll show you the 2 legendaries that I did spec into. Right here, consuming 5 corpses, grant 40% increased damage for 6 seconds. And if I'm spamming corpse explosion on all the corpses on the map, I'm always going to have that when I'm in combat. So that's 40% increase of damage, which is absolutely massive. And over here is my newest one. When 2 corpses are nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction, which I'm always surrounded by corpses. And then when no corpses are nearby, you deal an additional 15% increased damage, which is nice because if I'm blowing up all my corpse and then all of a sudden I used all of them, I'm getting that 15% increased damage. But mostly I got it for the 15% damage reduction to make me extra tanky. And I am pretty damn tanky. Okay, let's go to the Book of the Dead. As you can see, I've sacrificed all my minions here. I sacrificed my Reapers, which I deal 15% increased shadow damage. Again, I'm strictly shadow, except for my Bone Storm and Blood Mist. But all of this is darkness. This is corpse trindles. I thought that was darkness or shadow. It's corruption. Alright, well, I don't use it for damage, though. I use it for the stun, the vulnerability, and the clumping together. So we got corpse explosion, reap, and blight. All shadow damage, all doing 15% increased shadow damage. The mages, I sacrifice the cold ones. Deal 15% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. So when you put corpse tendrils down, it pulls everything in, makes them vulnerable. Boom, right there, 15% increased damage on top of the 20% that you're already doing because they're vulnerable. So I'm just milking enemies at that point. And then the golem, I didn't know which one to sacrifice. Because if you do bone, you get 10% attack speed, which is pretty nice. Iron, you get 30% increased critical strike damage, which is also pretty nice. But I went ahead and just did this. Increase your max life by 10%. Make you a little bit more tanky. I have 3,422 hit points at 69. I don't know if that's good or bad because this game doesn't have like an armory or a way to inspect people and see their stats. So, yeah. Anyways, that's how I built my character. I've upgraded oh, not these boots. I forgot to upgrade the boots. But I've upgraded everything to level 4. This weapon's level 5. If I stand still, you know, for 2 seconds, the damage goes up to 30%. So my attack power right now is 8,821. And if I move, it drops to 6,785. So 6,785 is probably my true attack power. And then I get the bonus of standing still of 8,821. So let's just go out here real quick, and I'm going to show you how to do this. What we're going to do is we're going to encounter an enemy. You're going to see me swing, and then I'm going to cast my tendrils, and then after they get pulled in, I'm going to start spamming Blight. You'll see my essence just drop like a brick because I'm going to be spamming it. And I'm going to be spamming Corpse Explosion on basically any corpses that I see. So let's go out here and see if we can't find any enemies. And this is a World Tier 4 dungeon, so everything is level 73 right now until I can start bringing it up with, like, you know, tier sequel. Alright, here we go. And swing. There's corpses. A lot of them drop. And this is it. Where's all the other enemies? Alright, well, I mean... And it's just milking. Like... It's so good. It works so fast. Let's do it with more enemies. Here we go. Let's get this right here. Alright. Pull them together. Spamming Blight, spamming Corpse Explosion, popping Bone Armor. Everything's dead. Like, what was that? A few seconds? Maybe not even that. The guys didn't even get a chance to jump in the air and like slam me down with their axe, and that hurts. It really does. They didn't even get a chance to do that. I completely wasted that group of mobs. Let's try it one more time. Okay. Here we go. And get it right here. Start spamming Blight, Corpse Explosion. That's it. Like, it's so... It feels ridiculous, is what it feels like. I know I'm supposed to be rescuing these prisoners, but I'm just recording a video right now, so hang on. Alright, alright, move out of the way of that. And then Blight, Corpse Explosion, spam it a little bit, and he's dead. This build is incredible. Like, there's times, don't get me wrong, there's times where I get in trouble, or I'll die, but, yeah, this build's incredible. I face tank mostly everything, unless something is, like, really hitting hard with projectiles, but for the most part, you can stand there and face tank stuff, which is great, because I'm getting that stand still bonus. So, the longer I can stand still, the more damage I'm doing. And, yeah, that's my current Necromancer build. I don't know if I'm going to change it anytime soon, until maybe they... you know, patch something, nerf something, buff something. If it moves around, we'll see. But this build is phenomenal. I recommend it to anybody. You don't have all these skeletons following you around, taking up your whole screen. Honestly, they didn't do that much damage. It was just nice of them to, like, steal aggro and kind of like, hey, look at me, hit me. Instead of, you know, the Necromancer, hit me. That's really all they were good for. And this way you can concentrate the kills in a small area rather than kills all over the screen, because when I had my minions with me, they would be all over the place, all over my screen fighting. So I would be like, Corpse Explosion over here, over here, over here, in the middle, over here, and I'm hitting every corpse. Yeah, we were killing everything pretty quick, but I'd rather have everything clumped up in one nice pile, milk them down in a matter of seconds, and that's it. But yeah, that's my Necromancer build. I recommend anybody to try it. You know, you can use the build, whatever. But yeah, I'll probably do another video on a different build once they ruin this one with buffs or nerfs, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.